Your apology is accepted, right? I think it's just the mercilessness of some of these guys who think whichever wear uniform. And I think it's happened a couple of times. Even once you invited us to have a meeting on Diaspora, directly to the summit, Hon Abike Dabiri-Erewa was here. He actually turned back. Yes, he actually turned back. But we're glad to be here. We take this as part of our oversight activities. From time to time, we don't always summon the executive, but also visit and interact and see how it's all for the betterment of the Nigerian nation. We will, like I said, this will be an interactive session, but we'll put across some the issues we have discovered as we've gone along in engaging Nigerians in diaspora and trying to see how we can push the issue of diaspora forward. I'm glad that we're in South Africa just a few days ago, and it's gladdening to know that diaspora matters are on the front burner, not only in Africa, but virtually all over the world. And we have diasporans who says we're from Africa, and we even want your citizenship. If I do my DNA and discover that I came from Nigeria, how can I be a Nigerian and not necessarily have to stick to wherever it was I was transported to? I would believe, Honorable Minister, that Nigeria should not be left behind in this diaspora matters. It is today and also the future. And policies are being geared around diaspora. And the communique issued at the end of, especially the Global Diaspora Summit for the eminent persons, the heads of states of almost 56 countries, it's important that Nigeria should be in the forefront of implementing the resolutions of that summit. We're told that Nigeria will be hosting a follow-up, I think, in September. So we just want to confirm that and assure our willingness to work with you. But before we go, Honourable Minister, I'd like to commend you and your team for having taken our foreign policy to another level and another dimension. I'll admit that when we do go and engage Nigerians, they tell us that they do see a whole lot of a difference in how the issue of foreign relations and how they are being treated is now being handled. However, there are still quite a lot of complaints. In this file are just a few of what we get almost every day. But what we do is you have to sort of look at them and decide which is really worth looking at. And I'm sure we'll be working a lot with my brother, Olugbenga. From Nigerians are all over the world, I suppose you know. And we have the downside, we have Nigerians getting into trouble. We have cases where, yes, they do get into trouble, but they don't deserve what they get. We're in Brazil not too long ago, and we intervened in cases of women in prison. We have a woman who is 72 years old. Brazilian law says over 70 shouldn't even be in prison. So if we had really intervened, she shouldn't be in prison, she'd rather house arrest. And then her case will be tried. In this file, Honourable Minister, from all over the world, from Egypt, I can't go into the full details, but we'll hand over virtually all of them to you. But there are cases that I'm sure if we intervene can save one or two Nigerians. In the case of Cairo, some of them are pretty serving, or maybe your term is 25 years, you've done 22, they just come and say the law has changed, now it's life imprisonment. I don't think we should leave them to their fate, but we'll go into the details with you. In Iran, I'm surprised to have that we have at least 40 Nigerians in various Iranian prisons. But they say that they are just guilty by association. Malaysia, this is actually from the Speaker's office. Singapore, maltreatment in Singapore, and this case is particularly pathetic. Lebanon, Honourable Minister. Spain, Malaga, Spain. This came from a lawyer here. In Togo, well, they claim that we have about quite a number. We don't know the numbers, but in China, we know that China is a critical case, and we believe that this committee will be visiting China along with officials of the Foreign Affairs Ministry to actually know what is going on there. Austria is also a pathetic case. They actually came to us to talk about how they are discriminated against in Austria. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs will authenticate their document, but they still reject them. So you're Nigerian, so we believe it is fake. Those are things that we believe we should look into. And the other, Mr. Don't let me bore you now, but there are quite a lot of these matters which we will hand over to another bank. I will work with you to see how we can intervene in some of these cases. Honorable Minister, we also know that Nigeria hosts an annual Diaspora Day. It should be July 25th every year. We don't even know whether there are plans to hold it this year because we haven't heard about preparations for it. We were in India with about 2 of our colleagues here. India actually comes to a standstill when they're having their 3-day diaspora event. The president, the prime minister, members of government are all there to participate, and as they end one, they're planning the next one. We believe we can learn from that. But right now, I know it's under the office of the SJ, but we don't even know whether a diaspora day is going to hold. If indeed it's going to hold, the planning should have started. Again, it was very evident in South Africa that we have no diaspora policy. We intend to work with you, with the IOM, International Office of Migration, to work together and create a diaspora policy. We believe it's a joint thing, executive, legislature. At least they have a policy in place. We have a migration policy which was heavily funded but is hanging somewhere on the shelf. So we'll appeal to you, Honorable Minister, maybe you can convince the Federal Executive Council to adopt that migration policy. When we were in Brazil, we were also informed that in 2009, they submitted some document to Nigeria on various things, immigration, prisoner exchange, but it says since 2009 till today, nothing has been heard from Nigeria. Whether you were interested or want some amendments, nothing has been heard from Nigeria. So I would like Honorable Minister to also please look into that. We're also informed that the World Bank is interested in setting up a remittance institute anywhere in the world. And I believe that Nigeria should be a place of choice, of preference, but we should indicate willingness to have that institute set up in Nigeria, if possible. But from what we gather, they are very willing, but Nigeria needs to show the interest. So we'll appeal to the ministry to make it possible to have the African Remittances Institute here in Nigeria, because we repatriate, Nigerians in diaspora send up the largest amount of money to Africa. 70% of remittances from Africa are from Nigerians in diaspora. And while we have Nigerians getting into trouble, we have several that are keeping this economy going and keeping it alive. And Jelani Aliyu from Sokoto, of course, you know, designed the Chevy Volt and is performing wonders in America. The guy who designed Obama's website is a Nigerian. We need to tap into these enormous human resources. And if we have a policy which we believe we can work together, we can take a major step forward. We have to promote ourselves. We have to blow our trumpets. We are not a nation of drug pushers and drug carriers and 419s. We are developing world economies all over, and that must reflect in our country, Nigeria. I mean, we have to stand up for our citizens no matter what. If we save one citizen who should not be in jail, we would have succeeded. In Sudan, Honorable Minister, we discovered that if out of every 3 Sudanese, 1 is probably Nigerian. And there's no Nigerian in Sudan who is in trouble. They all have great businesses, but we're not even talking about them. We didn't even know about them until I have this information about, a month ago when Honorable Shagari came back from Sudan. So I think that's something up, Honorable Minister, and thank you very much for it.